Now, the fighting may be over, but the battle's not won. Taxi Association Santaco says even though it's reached agreements with the Cape Town and Western Cape governments, it will not abandon its court challenge of Cape Town's bylaws. In fact, a taxi task team will, for the next 2 weeks, assess the terms and conditions for the release of impounded cars. For its part, Cape Town says while it welcomes the collaborative efforts with all stakeholders, the city will not bend the law to appease the taxi industry. eNCA's Nobesuthu Hejana has compiled this report for you.
The next 14 days will test the tolerance and commitment of all sides in the taxi dispute. Santaco, the city and the Provincial Transport Department have put aside their differences in order to end the strike for now. Now, the release of impounded vehicles will be discussed, as will enforcement of bylaws.
The agreement is largely that impoundments will continue under the NLTA offences. Just to summarise, that's no operating licence, no driver's licence, no PDP, no roadworthy, off-route. And then we will take 14 days to draw up a list of other major offences. Our obsession is commuter safety, thinking of the passengers. So all of those things that are reckless and negligent driving and endangerment will remain as major offences, and then minor offences which will be fines.
The Western Cape government says the week-long stay away could have been avoided. It says the terms agreed on now are the same ones proposed 8 days ago. It further accuses Santaco of trying to force the city to ignore the law.
It is not to impound a vehicle because the driver is drunk, not to impound a vehicle because the driver is driving in upcoming traffic. Those are things that any law-abiding citizen should expect any reasonable people to do. So those are things we could not agree to because it is not reasonable. And it's unacceptable. The amount of accidents we see, the Mitchell's Plain accident, you expect us to agree to things that is not reasonable. And those are things any reasonable person will not agree to. And I'm sorry, that is not, no task team can change that.
Santaco denies this and says it has made its unhappiness with the amended bylaws clear since earlier this year, and the clashes between law enforcement agencies and taxi drivers on Tuesday last week were the last straw. The Taxi Council says it will forge ahead with its court case.
I would say that, as you could see what transpired now in this media briefing, that we don't stay eye to eye on certain things that made us not to agree. Hence, we couldn't start resuming the operations. It was because of this thing. But you could see that that will make things very difficult in our task team, meaning the legal aspect or that route will have to explore one way or another. Where we see us that we couldn't reach an agreement on certain things, where we feel as the industry that these are not impoundable offences, we don't have a choice, but we'll have to explore that route.
Western Cape Premier Alan Winde has called for peace going into the negotiations, and he says he hopes Santaco will stay committed to agreements, including 36 hours notice for a strike should there be any breakdowns in discussions. Nobesuthu Hejana, Cape Town.